Today, we are diving into a major development that has sent shockwaves across Northern Europe. Denmark has just triggered a major Baltic shift, and the consequences of this move are unfolding faster than anyone expected. This moment is shaping the balance of power, reshaping alliances, and raising new questions about the future of the Baltic Sea region. What Denmark has done is not simply a domestic decision. It is a strategic action that is influencing the calculations of NATO, the European Union, Russia, and every nation connected to Baltic security and trade. In this video, we are going to break down why Denmark's move matters, how it happened, and what it means for the future. Stay with me as we explore the full story in depth. Denmark's role in the Baltic Sea has always been far more important than its size suggests. Sitting at the gateway between the North Sea and the Baltic Sea, Denmark can control access to one of the most important maritime routes in Northern Europe. For centuries, this strategic location has made Denmark a critical player in regional politics, military planning, and trade. But this time, the shift is not only about geography. It is about a bold political and military decision that is changing the entire strategic landscape of the Baltic region. Denmark has taken a step that many analysts describe as a turning point because it directly affects how NATO responds to growing tensions around the Baltic Sea. The move Denmark made was not sudden or impulsive. It was the result of months of strategic preparation, intelligence analysis, and discussions with allies. What triggered everything was a growing sense of urgency as Denmark observed a series of rising threats around the Baltic region. These threats include military activity around Kaliningrad, cyber operations targeting critical infrastructure, energy pressure, and uncertain political signals from Moscow. Denmark realized that the situation could no longer be managed through routine measures. Something bolder was needed, something that could redefine the balance and put pressure back on those who were testing the region's stability. Denmark's strategic decision involved upgrading its military posture in the Baltic, improving surveillance systems, increasing naval presence, strengthening coastal defenses, and enhancing cooperation with key allies like Sweden, Finland, Germany, and Poland. But the most decisive factor was Denmark's decision to activate and expand a major security framework that would allow for rapid NATO deployment across Danish territory. This effectively transforms Denmark into a frontline logistical hub for Baltic operations. It sends a clear signal. Denmark will no longer be a passive guardian of Baltic access. It will play an active and assertive role in shaping the region's future. The impact was immediate. NATO welcomed Denmark's move as a major enhancement to regional security. Several member states had been waiting for a country to take the lead, especially as Sweden and Finland recently joined NATO and strengthened the alliance's northern flank. Denmark's action completed the chain. It created an interconnected defense network stretching from the North Atlantic to the Baltic Sea. This network is designed to respond rapidly to any threat, whether at sea, in the air, or across cyberspace. In a region where minutes can determine the outcome of a crisis, this level of coordination is essential. Russia, however, reacted very differently. Moscow described Denmark's move as provocative and destabilizing. Russian officials claimed it escalates tensions instead of reducing them. But analysts point out that Russia has steadily increased military activity in the Baltic for years, with missile deployments in Kaliningrad, aggressive naval maneuvers, and intelligence operations targeting Nordic and Baltic states. Denmark's decision is seen by many as a necessary response to these growing threats. Instead of letting the situation drift toward instability, Denmark has chosen to act early and decisively. A major part of Denmark's shift is its investment in maritime surveillance. The Baltic Sea is one of the busiest waterways in Europe, but it is also vulnerable. Pipelines, data cables, and shipping routes require constant protection. Recent incidents involving underwater infrastructure raised alarms across Europe, pushing Denmark to strengthen its capabilities. Advanced sonar systems, aerial surveillance drones, and enhanced naval patrols are now being integrated into a regional monitoring network. This gives Denmark and its allies far greater visibility and control over what happens in the Baltic's waters and seabed. Energy security is another critical factor. The Baltic region is undergoing massive changes in how energy is produced, transported, and consumed. With the Nord Stream pipelines sabotaged and Russia reducing gas supplies to Europe, countries have accelerated the shift toward renewable energy, LNG imports, and power sharing networks. Denmark plays a central role in this transformation. Its decision to expand offshore wind farms, integrate energy grids with neighboring states, and protect critical energy corridors is part of this broader Baltic shift. It strengthens Europe's ability to resist energy pressure and reduces dependence on external sources. Denmark's move also includes major cybersecurity upgrades. The Baltic region has been the target of continuous cyber attacks, many linked to state-backed groups. Targeted sectors include energy, transportation, communication networks, and government institutions. Denmark experienced several cyber incidents in recent years, and intelligence agencies warned that the threat level was rising. In response, Denmark launched a cybersecurity expansion program that introduces new digital defenses, real-time monitoring, and joint cyber response units with other Nordic countries. This enhances the overall resilience of the region and strengthens cooperation against hybrid warfare tactics. The political implications are equally significant. Denmark's shift boosts cooperation among Baltic and Nordic countries, creating a stronger, unified front. Sweden and Finland's NATO membership already changed the strategic map, but Denmark's new role strengthens it further. The Baltic Sea, once surrounded by a mix of NATO and non-aligned states, is now a region where NATO's presence is dominant. This reduces the room for ambiguity and allows for clearer defense planning. Denmark is helping shape this new framework, ensuring that smaller nations feel secure and that larger allies have the support they need to act decisively. Economically, Denmark's move also has long-term effects. The Baltic Sea depends heavily on stable trade routes. Disruptions in shipping can affect everything from food supplies to industrial production. By strengthening its military and surveillance presence, Denmark is also protecting trade and economic stability. Shipping companies and investors view regional stability as essential for long-term planning. Denmark's action signals that the region is not vulnerable or unprepared. Instead, it is moving toward a stronger, more predictable environment for trade and investment. One of the most important aspects of this shift is Denmark's cooperation with Poland and the Baltic states. These countries have been warning Europe about potential threats for years, and they have consistently invested in defense and security. Denmark's decision aligns closely with their assessments and provides a stronger northern anchor for regional defense. Joint exercises, naval integration, intelligence sharing, and coordinated infrastructure projects are all expanding. Together, they form a protective shield that covers both the eastern and northern flanks of NATO. Public opinion inside Denmark also played a part. Recent surveys showed rising concern among citizens about regional security and energy stability. People wanted clearer action from the government, stronger protection for national infrastructure, and closer ties with allies. Denmark's leaders recognized this shift in public sentiment and responded with a strategy that directly addresses these concerns. This political stability gives Denmark the confidence to take bold steps without facing major internal opposition. Another important development is Denmark's investment in modernizing its armed forces. This includes upgrading naval vessels, enhancing air defense systems, expanding the army, and acquiring new technologies. The upgrades are not simply national defense improvements. They are designed to integrate seamlessly with NATO operations. Denmark is positioning itself as a key connector between the North Atlantic and Baltic regions. This requires equipment, training, and strategic planning that aligns with the highest standards of interoperability. As Denmark reshapes its defense posture, its intelligence services are also expanding cooperation with partners across Europe. This includes data sharing agreements, joint threat assessments, and integrated monitoring systems. Intelligence plays a crucial role in preventing crises, identifying risks, and detecting activities that could destabilize the region. Denmark's decision strengthens this network, giving Europe faster and more accurate information about what is happening in the Baltic Sea. The move also highlights the importance of environmental protection in the Baltic region. The Baltic Sea is highly sensitive to pollution, overfishing, and industrial waste. Denmark's strategy includes expanding environmental monitoring systems that help detect illegal dumping, maritime pollution, and threats to marine ecosystems. A stable and secure region is not only about military protection, it is also about protecting natural resources. Denmark's leadership in environmental efforts strengthens cooperation among Baltic states and supports long-term sustainability. As we look toward the future, Denmark's action could shape regional politics for the next decade. Analysts believe that this marks the beginning of a new era in Baltic security. Instead of waiting for threats to escalate, countries are taking proactive steps. Denmark's leadership signals that the region is prepared to defend itself and willing to make bold decisions when necessary. This increases deterrence and reduces the likelihood of miscalculations or conflicts. The geopolitical consequences extend beyond Europe. The Baltic Sea is connected to global trade routes, energy markets, and strategic competition among major powers. Denmark's shift will influence how other countries approach the region, including the United States, China, and members of the Arctic Council. The Baltic is no longer a quiet corner of Europe. It has become a strategic crossroads where international interests collide. Denmark's move positions it as a central player in this evolving landscape. To sum up, Denmark has triggered a major Baltic shift through decisive action, strategic planning, and strong cooperation with allies. By enhancing its military posture, improving surveillance, strengthening energy security, modernizing cybersecurity, and building regional partnerships, Denmark has reshaped the future of the Baltic Sea region. This move is not just a response to current threats, it is an investment in long-term stability. The impact is clear, the balance of power is shifting, and Denmark is taking a leading role in defining what comes next.